I thought I knew what betrayal felt like until the morning my husband told me we were broke. My name is Avery, and I'm about to tell you how I discovered that the people you trust most can destroy you with a smile on their face. It was a Tuesday. Kyle sat across from me at our kitchen table, his coffee growing cold as he stared at his hands. The morning light made him look older somehow, shadows pooling under his eyes. Ave, we need to talk. Those 4 words, you know the ones. They hit like ice water in your veins. What's wrong? I set down my mug, already knowing I didn't want to hear this. The investment? The one I told you about last month? The tech startup Prince recommended? My stomach dropped. Kyle, no. It's gone. All of it. He finally looked up and I saw something that made my blood freeze. Not devastation. Not panic. Just resignation. Like he'd already accepted it. Our entire savings account. $68,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. $68,000, my inheritance from Mum, carefully saved over 3 years. The down payment for our dream house. Our safety net. How? The word came out as a whisper. The company folded overnight. Some kind of fraud investigation. Prince said. Prince said? I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. You trusted Prince with our entire future? Kyle's jaw tightened. He's on the board at my company, Alv. He knows what he's talking about. New, past tense. Because now we have nothing. We'll figure it out. I'll pick up extra hours. Maybe I could what? Work myself to death to fix your mistake? The silence stretched between us. Outside I could hear our neighbour starting his car, heading off to his normal Tuesday, where his world hadn't just imploded. Kyle reached across the table. Ave, I'm sorry, I pulled my hand away. You thought wrong. That afternoon, I sat in my car outside the jewellery store, holding Mom's pearl necklace, the one she wore to my wedding, the one she said would be mine someday, to pass down to my own daughter. The appraiser barely looked up. Cultured pearls, I can give you $400. $400 for a piece of my mother's soul? Fine. I walked out with cash in my pocket and a hole in my chest where my heart used to be. By evening, I'd applied for a second job at the diner downtown. Night shifts Thursday through Sunday. The manager, a tired woman named Rita, looked me up and down. You sure about this, honey? Night shift's rough. Drunk college kids, truckers, all kinds of characters. I'm sure. When can you start? Tonight? Kyle was watching TV when I got home, some mindless sitcom laugh track filling our living room. He looked up when I walked in. Where were you? Getting us a second income. I dropped the jewellery store receipt on the coffee table. Mum's pearls bought us groceries for 2 weeks. His face went white. Ave, you didn't have to... Yes, I did. Because apparently I'm the only one taking this seriously. The next morning, Lorelei called. Kyle's mother had a way of making every conversation feel like a performance review I was failing. Avery, dear, Kyle told me about your situation. Your situation. Like it was something I caught, not something her son had done to us. It's temporary, Lorelei. Of course it is. Though I do hope you're not being too hard on Kyle. Men sometimes make mistakes when they're trying to provide for their families. I gripped the phone tighter. Mistakes? Investment risks are part of business, dear. Perhaps if you'd been more involved in the financial decisions. The implication hung in the air like smoke. This was somehow my fault for not watching him closely enough. I have to go, Lorelei. Work calls. Oh yes, Kyle mentioned your working nights now. How industrious of you. I hung up before I said something I'd regret. That evening, Gabriella came over with Chinese takeout and wine. My best friend since high school, she'd always been able to read me like a book. You look like hell, she said, settling onto my couch. Thanks. Really what I needed to hear. I'm serious, Ave. When's the last time you slept? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't remember. Gabriella poured wine into 2 mismatched glasses. Tell me everything. From the beginning. So I did. The whole story spilled out between bites of lo mein and sips of cheap Chardonnay. Kyle's confession, the jewellery store, Lorelei's passive-aggressive phone call, my new job slinging hash at 2 a.m. Something doesn't add up, Gabriella said when I finished. What do you mean? This Prince guy. Kyle's known him for what, 6 months? And he trusted him with your entire savings. Kyle's always been too trusting. No, Alv. Kyle's always been careful with money. Remember when you wanted to splurge on that vacation to Italy? He made spreadsheets. Plural. She was right. Kyle researched everything to death. He'd spent 3 weeks comparing coffee makers before buying our current one. Maybe he panicked, I said. Felt pressure to make a big move. Gabriella shook her head. Or maybe there's more to this story. Later that night, after she left, I sat at my laptop staring at our online banking. Something nagged at me, a splinter in my brain I couldn't quite reach. I scrolled through our transaction history looking for the withdrawal. $68,000 should leave a mark, right? A clear record of where our life went wrong. But what I found made my blood run cold. There it was. A withdrawal for $68,000 dated 3 weeks ago, but underneath it, something that made no sense. A deposit. Same day, same amount. Then another withdrawal, different amount, 2 days later. My hands shook as I clicked for more details. The deposit came from an account I didn't recognize. The second withdrawal went to the same unknown account. Kyle hadn't lost our money in a bad investment. He'd moved it, hidden it, and then he'd lied to my face about it. I stared at that screen until my eyes burned, but the numbers didn't change. Kyle had lied. The question was why. Sleep didn't come that night. I lay next to him listening to his steady breathing, wondering how someone could sleep so peacefully after destroying their wife's life. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those bank transactions dancing behind my eyelids. By Thursday, I was running on fumes and spite. My first night shift at the diner had been exactly as brutal as Rita warned. Drunk college kids throwing up in the bathroom, truckers hitting on me while their coffee went cold, and a steady stream of humanity at its worst between midnight and dawn. I dragged myself home at 6 a.m., every muscle screaming. Kyle was already gone for work, leaving behind a sink full of dishes and a note. Thanks for everything you're doing. Love you. Love you. Right. I fell into bed and managed 3 hours of sleep before my phone buzzed. A text from my sister-in-law, Sadie. OMG, check Vanessa's Instagram story. So exciting. I almost ignored it. Sadie's drama usually involves some new designer purse or restaurant she couldn't actually afford. But something made me open Instagram. Vanessa's story was a parade of luxury. Champagne flutes, marble countertops, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The kind of apartment that cost more per month than I made in 3. Celebrating my bestie's new place. Vanessa's voice chirped over the video. Sadie, you're living the dream. The camera panned to show Sadie raising a glass, her smile wide and satisfied. Sometimes good things happen to good people. I sat up in bed, suddenly wide awake. The apartment was gorgeous, modern, expensive. The kind of place Sadie had always talked about wanting, but could never afford, on her part-time boutique job. I screenshotted everything before the stories disappeared. Then I went back through Vanessa's older posts. There was Sadie at a spa day 2 weeks ago. Sadie with shopping bags from Nordstrom last weekend. Sadie at some fancy steakhouse Tuesday night. Tuesday night, the same day Kyle told me we were broke. My hands shook as I scrolled further back. The timeline was damning. For the past month, while I'd been stressed about our finances, Sadie had been living like a lottery winner. I called Gabriella. Ave? You sound terrible. I need you to look at something. I sent her the screenshots. Tell me what you see. A pause. Holy shit. When did Sadie get rich? That's what I want to know. This apartment. I looked at places in this building last year. The cheapest unit was $4,000 a month. 4,000. More than Kyle and I spent on rent, utilities and groceries combined. There's more, I said, and told her about the bank transactions. You need to confront him. With what? Screenshots of his sister's Instagram? He'll say she got a new job or a loan or... Then get proof. Real proof. That evening, Kyle came home with flowers. Grocery store daisies wilted around the edges, but he presented them like they were roses from a fancy florist. For my hard-working wife, I took them without smiling. How was work? Same old. Prince asked about you, actually. Said he felt terrible about the investment thing. I bet he did. Kyle studied my face. You okay? You seem off. I'm tired. Working 2 jobs will do that. I know, and I appreciate... Kyle. I set the flowers on the counter. I saw Sadie's new apartment. Something flickered across his face. Too quick to catch, but I saw it. What apartment? The one Vanessa posted all over Instagram. Marble countertops, city views, champagne celebration. Ring any bells? Oh, that. He shrugged, but his shoulders were tense. She got a roommate situation, splitting costs with some friend. Must be a generous friend. That place costs more than we make. What are you getting at? I pulled out my phone, showed him the screenshots. I'm getting at the fact that your sister is living like a millionaire while I'm selling my mother's jewellery to buy groceries. Kyle barely glanced at the screen. You're being paranoid. Am I? Yes. Sadie's always been good at making things look better than they are. You know how she is with social media. So she's faking it. She's embellishing, like always. But his voice had that careful quality it got when he was choosing his words too precisely, like when he told me about the investment. Kyle, look at me. He did, but his eyes kept darting away. Is there something you're not telling me about Sadie's situation? No? God, Ave, why would there be? Because your sister went from broke to rich overnight, and you went from responsible to reckless overnight, and the timing seems pretty fucking convenient. You're being crazy. Don't call me crazy. Then stop acting like it. His voice rose, and I saw a flash of something ugly in his expression. I made a mistake with the investment. A stupid, terrible mistake. But that doesn't mean there's some conspiracy involving my sister. I never said conspiracy. You're implying it. You're looking for someone to blame besides me. Maybe because you're lying to me. Kyle slammed his hand on the counter. I'm not lying. Jesus Christ, Avery, I told you what happened. I'm sorry it happened, but I can't change it. Can we please just move forward? Move forward? Kyle, we have nothing left to move forward with. We have each other. Do we? The question hung in the air between us. Kyle's face went pale. What's that supposed to mean? It means I don't know who you are anymore. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he grabbed his keys from the counter. I'm going for a drive. Maybe when I get back, you'll be ready to have a rational conversation. The door slammed behind him, rattling the cheap daisies in their grocery store wrapper. I stood alone in our kitchen, surrounded by the wreckage of our life, and pulled out my phone. I had Gabriella's number halfway dialed when my email chimed. The subject line made my heart stop. Congratulations on your new property purchase. I opened it with shaking fingers. It was from a real estate agent, thanking Kyle for choosing their services and confirming the successful closing on a luxury condo. The address matched Sadie's new apartment exactly. I screenshotted that email so fast, my phone nearly slipped from my shaking hands. Then I read it again, and again. Kyle had bought Sadie an apartment, with our money, while telling me we were broke. The front door opened 20 minutes later. Kyle walked in looking sheepish, probably expecting me to apologise for being irrational. Instead, I held up my phone. Want to explain this? He glanced at the screen and his face went white. Actually white, like all the blood had drained straight out. Ave, I can explain. You bought your sister a condo. It's not what it looks like. It looks like you stole our savings to buy your sister a luxury apartment, while I sell my dead mother's jewellery to keep us afloat. Kyle ran his hands through his hair. Okay, yes. I helped Sadie with the down payment, but it's temporary. She's going to pay me back. With what money? Her part-time boutique job? She's got opportunities coming up. Influencer deals, brand partnerships. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Kyle flinched. I never swore at him. Never raised my voice. But something had snapped inside me, and I couldn't put it back together. You gambled our entire future on your sister's Instagram career? It wasn't a gamble. It was an investment in family. An investment? Kyle, you lied to me. You told me the money was gone, lost. You made me believe we were ruined. Because I knew you'd react like this. Like what? Like someone who's been betrayed by her husband? Like someone who doesn't understand that sometimes you have to take risks for the people you love? I stared at him. The people you love. What about me, Kyle? What about the person you married? Of course I love you. That's why I didn't want you to worry. You didn't want me to worry. I've been working 18-hour days. I sold my mother's pearls. I haven't slept in a week. And I appreciate everything you're doing. Stop. I held up my hand. Just stop talking. Kyle's mouth snapped shut. How much? What? How much did you give her? For the condo? Kyle looked at his feet. The down payment was $20,000. What else? Ave, what else? First month's rent, security deposit, some furniture. How much total? $35,000. The number hit me like a slap. $35,000, more than half our savings. She needed help. I needed help. Your wife needed help. But instead you chose your sister. It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. My phone rang. Lorelei's name flashed on the screen. Don't answer it, Kyle said quickly. Too late. I'd already swiped. Avery, dear, Kyle told me you two had a little spat. A little spat. I looked at Kyle, who was making frantic hand gestures. Did he tell you what it was about? Something about Sadie's new place. Honestly, I think you're being a bit dramatic. Family helps family. Family helps family, I repeated slowly. Exactly. And Sadie's been through such a hard time lately. She deserves some happiness. What about what I deserve, Lorelei? A pause. Well, of course you deserve happiness too, dear. But marriage is about sacrifice. About putting your husband's family first. His family first. That's how it works, Avery. When you married Kyle, you married all of us. I hung up. Kyle was watching me with the expression of a man who knew he was about to get hit by a train. Your mother knew. Ave, your mother knew you stole our money to buy Sadie an apartment, and she thinks I should be grateful for the privilege. Nobody stole anything. It's our money, and I made a decision. Without me. Because I knew you'd say no. Of course I'd say no. It's insane. Kyle's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his expression shifted. I have to take this. No, you don't. We're not done. But he was already answering. Hey, Sadie. I could hear her voice through the speaker, high and excited. Kyle, thank God. Avery's being crazy, texting me all these questions about my apartment. Can you talk to her? Kyle looked at me. She found out about the down payment. So? It's none of her business how we handle family finances. Family finances? Like I wasn't part of the family. Kyle saw my expression and tried to backtrack. Sadie, maybe we should talk later. No, put her on. I'll explain it to her. Kyle held out the phone. She wants to talk to you. I took it. Avery, look, I get that you're upset, but Kyle was just helping me out. It's what brothers do. With money that wasn't his to give. Excuse me? That money came from my inheritance, my mother's life insurance, money she left for me. Well, when you got married, it became Kyle's money too. That's how marriage works. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Is that what you think? It's not what I think, it's legal fact, community property and all that. Community property? Right, so technically, Kyle had every right to help me. I hung up and handed Kyle his phone. Get out. Ave, come on. Get out. This is my house too. Then go stay with your sister, in the apartment you bought her. Kyle grabbed his jacket. Fine, but when you calm down, we're going to talk about this like adults. Adults don't lie to their spouses. Adults don't throw tantrums either. The door slammed again, harder this time. I called Gabriella. He bought her a condo, I said when she answered. What? Kyle bought Sadie a condo. $35,000, our money. Jesus Christ. I need your help. I need to know exactly where our money went and when. I'll be right over. An hour later, Gabriella sat at my kitchen table with her laptop and a stack of bank statements. She'd always been good with numbers, worked as an accountant for a small firm downtown. Okay, she said, fingers flying over the keyboard. Let's see what your husband's been up to. We worked in silence for 20 minutes, cross-referencing dates and amounts. What we found made my stomach turn. Ave, Gabriella said quietly, it's not just the condo. What do you mean? She turned the laptop toward me. Look at this. Small transfers going back 3 months. 500 here, 1,000 there, all going to the same account. How much total? Gabriella's face was grim. $48,000! 48,000. Almost our entire savings siphoned away bit by bit while I worked myself to exhaustion. There's more, Gabriella said. The account receiving the transfers. It's not just Sadie's name on it. What do you mean? It's a joint account, Sadie's name and someone else's. She highlighted a name on the screen that made my blood freeze. Prince? Prince, I whispered, staring at the name on the screen. Kyle's co-worker, Prince. Gabriella nodded grimly. The same Prince who recommended the investment that supposedly lost all your money. This doesn't make sense. Why would Sadie have a joint account with Kyle's co-worker? Maybe they're working together. Maybe this whole thing was planned. I felt sick. You think Kyle, Sadie, and Prince conspired to steal my money? I think you need to talk to someone who can give you real answers. Someone who knows about your inheritance. She was right. I grabbed my phone and scrolled through my contacts until I found Julius, my mum's attorney, the one who'd handled her estate. I'd barely spoken to him since the inheritance was settled 3 years ago. Julius, it's Avery. I need to see you today. Avery, hello. Is everything all right? You sound distressed. My husband has been transferring money out of our joint account, money that came from my mother's life insurance. A pause. I see. Can you be at my office in an hour? I'll be there. Julius's office was exactly as I remembered it. Dark wood, leather chairs, and law books that looked older than me. He was waiting with a thick file folder when I arrived. Sit down, Avery. Tell me what's happened. I laid out everything. Kyle's lies, Sadie's apartment, the transfers to Prince's account. Julius listened without interrupting, occasionally making notes. How much has been transferred total? He asked when I finished. $48,000. And your husband told you this money was lost in a bad investment? Yes. He made me believe we were broke. Julius opened the file folder. Avery, I need to remind you of something important about your inheritance. What do you mean? Your mother was very specific about how she wanted her money protected. She didn't just leave you a lump sum. She created a trust. I frowned. A trust? But the money went into our joint account. Some of it did. The life insurance payout, yes. But the bulk of your inheritance, the real money, is still in the trust. I don't understand. Julius pulled out a document. Your mother left you nearly $200,000, Avery. The $68,000 that went into your joint account was just the initial distribution. The rest has been sitting in a protected trust, earning interest. The room spun. 200,000. 196,000 to be exact. Plus 3 years of accumulated interest. Your mother called it her fortress clause. She wanted to make sure you'd always have something that belonged only to you. Kyle doesn't know about this. Kyle has no legal claim to trust funds. They're yours alone, completely separate from marital property. I stared at the document. My mother had protected me, even from beyond the grave. So the money Kyle stole was yours to begin with, but it wasn't everything, not even close. Can I access the trust? Of course. You're the sole beneficiary. I can have funds transferred to a new account in your name only. Do it. Julius made a note. I'll also recommend you speak with a divorce attorney. I haven't decided about divorce yet. Avery, your husband has committed fraud. He's stolen from you and lied about it. This isn't a marriage problem. It's a criminal matter. I left Julius's office with a new bank account number and a completely different perspective on my situation. Kyle hadn't destroyed me. He'd stolen from me, but he hadn't destroyed me. My phone rang as I walked to my car. Kyle's name flashed on the screen. Ave, we need to talk. I'm listening. Not over the phone. Can you meet me somewhere? Where? The coffee shop on 5th Street. The one where we had our first date. I almost laughed. He was trying to manipulate me with nostalgia. Fine, 20 minutes. Kyle was already there when I arrived, sitting in the same corner booth where he'd nervously asked me to be his girlfriend 7 years ago. He looked terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, dark circles under his eyes. You look like hell, I said, sliding into the opposite seat. I feel like hell. Ave, I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. For which part? Stealing from me or lying about it? Both. All of it. He reached across the table. I never meant for it to go this far. I pulled my hands away. How far did you mean for it to go? Sadie was desperate. She was about to get evicted, and she begged me to help. So you decided to help her with my money. I thought I could pay it back before you noticed. Prince said he had some deals coming up, ways to make quick money. Prince! Let's talk about Prince! Kyle's face went pale. What about him? Why does he have a joint account with your sister? Kyle's mouth opened and closed like a fish. How did you? I hired an accountant to trace our money. Imagine my surprise when I found out it didn't go to some failed startup. It went to Prince and Sadie's joint account. Ave, I can explain. Then explain, right now. Kyle looked around the coffee shop like he was searching for an escape route. Prince and Sadie, they're involved. Involved how? They're seeing each other. Have been for months. And you thought it was a good idea to give them our life savings? Prince said he could invest it, double it, maybe triple it. Then I could pay you back and we'd be better off than before. Kyle, do you hear yourself? You gave our money to your sister's boyfriend to gamble with. It wasn't gambling. Prince knows people, has connections. Prince is a con artist and you fell for it. No, he's not. He's on the board at my company. Kyle. I leaned forward. I know about the trust. The colour drained from his face completely. What trust? My mother's trust. The one with the real inheritance money. The money you can't touch. Kyle stared at me. I don't know what you're talking about. $196,000, Kyle. That's what my mother actually left me. The money you stole was just pocket change. That's impossible. You would have told me. I didn't know. But I do now. Kyle's hands shook as he reached for his coffee. Ave, please. We can fix this. I'll get the money back from Prince and Sadie. How? By asking nicely. I'll make them give it back. With what leverage? You're not exactly in a position to make demands. Kyle's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his face went even paler. What is it? Text from Sadie. She wants to meet. About what? Kyle showed me the message. We need to talk. Bring Avery. It's important. I looked at Kyle. What does she want? I don't know. But Ave, please, come with me. Let's hear what she has to say. Why would I do that? Because maybe we can work this out. Maybe there's a way to fix everything. I studied his face. He looked desperate, broken. Part of me felt sorry for him, but a bigger part of me was curious. What could Sadie possibly have to say that would make any of this better? Fine, I said. But Kyle? Yeah? This is your last chance. If you lie to me again, if you try to manipulate me, or gaslight me, or make me feel crazy, we're done. Completely done. Kyle nodded frantically. I understand. No more lies. But as we left the coffee shop, I caught him typing something on his phone, a quick message to someone. He was already breaking his promise. We met Sadie at her new apartment. Of course we did. She wanted to show off what she bought with my money. The building was everything the Instagram posts had promised. Marble lobby, doorman who looked like he belonged in a magazine, elevator that moved so smoothly I barely felt it rise to the 15th floor. Sadie answered the door in yoga pants that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Her smile was bright and fake. Avery! So good to see you. Come in. Come in. The apartment was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows, hardwood floors, kitchen island bigger than my entire kitchen. Everything was white and gold and perfect. Beautiful place, I said. Thank you. I just love it. Can I get you something to drink? Wine? Coffee? I'm fine. Kyle shifted nervously beside me. Sadie, you said you wanted to talk? Right, yes, let's sit. She led us to a living room that looked like a furniture showroom. I perched on the edge of a white leather couch that probably cost more than my car. So, Sadie said, settling into a matching chair, Kyle told me you're upset about the money situation. The money situation, I repeated. And I totally get it. I mean, I'd be upset too if I didn't understand what was really happening. Then explain it to me. Sadie's smile widened. It's an investment, Avery. In my future. In all our futures, really. Your future. I'm building a brand. Social media influence, lifestyle content, product partnerships. Do you know how much money influencers make? Enlighten me. Hundreds of thousands. Millions if you do it right. And I'm doing it right. She pulled out her phone, started scrolling through screenshots. Look at these numbers. 50,000 followers and growing. Engagement rates through the roof. I've already got 3 companies wanting to sponsor me. For what? Lifestyle content, fashion, home decor, beauty products. This apartment isn't just where I live. It's my studio, my set. Every post I make here is worth thousands in potential revenue. I looked at Kyle. You bought your sister an apartment so she could take Instagram photos? It's more than that, Kyle said quickly. Show her the contracts, Sadie. Sadie jumped up, grabbed a folder from her kitchen counter. These are preliminary agreements. Once I hit 100,000 followers, these deals become official. She spread papers across the coffee table. I picked one up, scanned it. This says you'll make $5,000 if you hit certain metrics. That's just one deal. I've got 5 more in the works. So $30,000 if you hit your targets. When I hit my targets. Sadie, you spent $48,000 of my money. Even if all these deals work out, you're still in the hole. That's just the beginning. Once I establish myself, the real money starts flowing. 6-figure deals, brand partnerships, maybe my own product line. I stared at her. You're living in a fantasy. I'm living in the future. Kyle gets it. That's why he invested in me. Kyle stole from me to fund your delusions. Sadie's smile faltered. Delusions? Yes. You think you're going to become a millionaire by posting pictures of your breakfast. Avery! Kyle warned. No, Kyle. Let me finish. I turned back to Sadie. You have 50,000 followers. Do you know how many people have 50,000 followers and make 0 money? Do you know how saturated the influencer market is? I'm different. You're not. You're a basic girl with a trust fund mentality and no actual skills. Sadie's face went red. Excuse me? You heard me. You've never worked a real job in your life. You've never had to struggle or sacrifice or build anything. You just expect money to fall into your lap because you're pretty and entitled. Avery, stop, Kyle said. Why? Because I'm hurting her feelings. She stole my inheritance and I'm supposed to be polite about it. I didn't steal anything, Sadie snapped. Kyle gave me that money willingly. Kyle gave you my money without my permission. That's theft. It's community property. Actually, it's not. Both Kyle and Sadie stared at me. The money Kyle gave you came from my mother's life insurance. But that wasn't my real inheritance. My mother left me a trust, a big one. Money that Kyle can't touch, can't access, can't steal. Kyle's face went white. Ave, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the $196,000 that's sitting in an account with only my name on it. Sadie's mouth fell open. That's impossible. I met with my attorney today. Turns out my mother was smarter than all of us. She protected her money from exactly this situation. You're lying, Sadie said. I pulled out my phone, showed them the bank app with my new account balance. $203,000 with interest. The silence stretched between us. Kyle looked like he might throw up. So you see, I continued, your little scheme didn't work. You didn't get my real money. You just got enough to hang yourselves with. Sadie recovered first. Well, that's great for you, but Kyle still gave me this money and I'm not giving it back. We'll see about that. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm going to destroy you. Kyle stood up abruptly. Ave, let's go. This isn't helping anyone. Sit down, Kyle. Ave, sit. Down. He sat. I turned back to Sadie. You want to play influencer? Let's talk about your brand. What happens when your followers find out you're a thief? I'm not a thief. You took money that wasn't yours. You're living a lie funded by someone else's inheritance. How do you think that plays on social media? Sadie's confidence cracked. You wouldn't. Try me. Kyle, tell her she can't do this. Kyle looked between us like a trapped animal. Maybe we should all calm down. There's more, I said. Prince, your boyfriend, the one with his name on your bank account. Sadie went very still. What about Prince? Kyle told me you two are involved. Joint account, joint schemes. Very romantic. Kyle told you that? I looked at Kyle, who was staring at his hands. He did. Just this afternoon. Sadie turned to her brother, her voice deadly quiet. You told her about Prince and me. Sadie, I had to explain. You promised you wouldn't tell anyone. I was trying to make her understand. Understand what? That you threw me under the bus to save yourself? Kyle's mouth opened and closed. That's not what happened. Isn't it? Sadie's voice was rising. You made this mess, Kyle. You came to me begging for help with your marriage problems, asking me to help you hide money from Avery. Sadie, stop. And now when it all falls apart, you blame me? You tell her I seduced you into it. I looked between them. Wait, Kyle asked you to help him hide money from me. Sadie laughed bitterly. Oh, this is rich. He didn't tell you that part, did he? Sadie, please, Kyle begged. Tell me what part, I asked. Sadie smiled, and it wasn't pretty. Kyle's been planning to leave you for months, Avery. The money transfers, the secret accounts, all of it. He's been moving assets so you couldn't get them in the divorce. The words hit me like ice water. That's not true. Ask him. I turned to Kyle. Is that true? Kyle's silence was answer enough. Oh my God, I whispered. You were planning to divorce me and leave me with nothing. Ave, it's not that simple. How long? What? How long have you been planning this? Kyle's voice was barely a whisper. 6 months. 6 months. While I worked myself to exhaustion, while I sold my mother's jewellery, while I believed his lies about loving me. And Prince? I asked Sadie. Where does he fit in? Sadie's smile turned vicious. Prince isn't my boyfriend, honey. He's Kyle's business partner. They've been planning this together from the beginning. She pulled out her phone, scrolled to a text thread, and handed it to me. The messages were between her and Prince, but they weren't love notes. They were plans to screw over Kyle. I read the text between Sadie and Prince, my hands shaking with each message. Kyle's such an idiot. He actually thinks we're going to give him half. Let him think it. Once we have all the money moved, we'll cut him loose. What about his wife? What about her? She'll be Kyle's problem, not ours. You're brilliant, babe. Kyle never saw this coming. I looked up at Sadie, who was watching me with satisfaction. You played him? Like a fiddle! Kyle grabbed the phone from my hands, reading frantically. His face went from pale to green. Sadie, what the fuck is this? It's called getting what I deserve. We had a deal. We had a deal where you got half, and I got half. But then I realised something. Sadie stood up, smoothing her yoga pants. Why should I split anything with you? You're the one who stole from your wife. You're the one who committed fraud. I'm just an innocent victim who got caught up in your scheme. You bitch, Kyle whispered. Careful, brother. I have screenshots of every conversation we've had about this. Every text where you planned to hide assets from Avery. Every email where you asked me to help you screw over your wife. Kyle lunged toward her, but I grabbed his arm. Don't, I said. She's not worth it. Listen to your wife, Kyle. She's smarter than both of us gave her credit for. I stood up slowly. You're right, Sadie. I am smarter than you thought. Good for you. Smart enough to record this entire conversation. Sadie's smile faltered. What? I held up my phone. Voice memo. Been running since we sat down. You can't do that. This is my apartment. Actually, I can. Single party consent state. I only need my permission to record. Kyle stared at me. Ave, what are you doing? What I should have done weeks ago, taking control. I stopped the recording and immediately texted it to Gabriella with a message. Send this to Julius. Now. Who's Julius? Sadie asked. My attorney. The one who's going to help me destroy both of you. You can't prove anything, can't I? I have bank records showing Kyle transferred our money to your joint account with Prince. I have this recording of you admitting to conspiracy and fraud. I have text messages between you and Prince planning to steal from Kyle. Those texts are private. Not anymore. You showed them to me, remember? In front of witnesses. Kyle was reading through more of the messages. Jesus Christ, Sadie. You and Prince have been planning this for months. Of course we have. Did you really think we'd let you keep half after you dragged us into your mess? My mess? You agreed to help. Because Prince convinced me to. He said we could take everything and leave you holding the bag. And you were fine with that. Kyle, you were planning to divorce your wife and leave her with nothing. Don't act like you have moral high ground here. I looked between them, these two people who destroyed my life for money. You deserve each other. Excuse me? You're both liars. You're both thieves. You both betrayed the people who trusted you most. I never betrayed anyone, Sadie snapped. You betrayed Kyle, your own brother. He betrayed you first. And that makes it okay? Sadie's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and her face went white. What is it? Kyle asked. Prince. He wants to meet. About what? Sadie's hands shook as she typed a response. He says there's a problem with the money. What kind of problem? He won't say. Just that we need to meet tonight. Kyle grabbed his jacket. Let's go. Wait, I said. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not, Kyle said. It's my money. I have a right to know what happened to it. Avi, this could be dangerous. If Prince is planning something, then you'll need a witness. Sadie looked up from her phone. He wants to meet at the warehouse district, some address I don't recognize. That's definitely not suspicious, I said. We don't have a choice, Kyle said. If we want our money back... Your money? I laughed. Kyle, you don't have any money. You stole mine, gave it to them, and they stole it from you. You're broke. Then help me get it back. Why would I do that? Because I'm your husband. You're my soon-to-be ex-husband who planned to divorce me and leave me with nothing. Kyle's shoulders sagged. Ave, please. I know I fucked up. I know I don't deserve your help. But if we don't get that money back, Prince and Sadie win. And if we do get it back, then maybe we can work something out. Maybe we can fix this. I stared at him. There's no fixing this, Kyle. You killed our marriage the moment you decided to steal from me. So you won't help. I didn't say that. Hope flickered in his eyes. You'll come with us. I'll come, but not to help you. I want to see Prince's face when I tell him about the trust fund. I want to watch him realise he went through all this trouble for pocket change. Sadie was still texting furiously. He says to come alone. Not happening, I said. We go together or not at all. He's not going to like that. I don't care what Prince likes. He stole my money. He can deal with my terms. An hour later, we were driving through the warehouse district in Kyle's car. The area was mostly abandoned. Old industrial buildings with broken windows and graffiti-covered walls. This is a terrible idea, I said. You didn't have to come, Kyle muttered. Yes, I did. Someone needs to witness whatever Prince is planning. Sadie was navigating from the passenger seat. Turn left here. It should be the third building. We pulled up to a warehouse that looked like it hadn't been used in decades. One car was already there. A black BMW I recognised from Kyle's company parking lot. That's Prince's car, Kyle said. Where is he? Inside, I guess. We got out of the car. The warehouse had a side door that was slightly ajar. Light spilled out from inside. Prince? Sadie called out. In here, came the reply. We walked through the door into a large, mostly empty space. Prince stood in the centre under a single hanging light bulb. He looked different than I remembered. Sharper, more dangerous. You brought her, he said, looking at me. She insisted, Kyle said. That's unfortunate. Why? I asked. Prince smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes, because now I have to change my plans. What plans? The plans that didn't include witnesses. That's when I saw the other men step out of the shadows. 3 of them, all bigger than Prince, all looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Prince, Kyle said slowly, what's going on? What's going on, Kyle, is that you've become a liability, you and your sister both. We had a deal. We had a deal when I thought you could keep your mouth shut. But then you told your wife about me. Then Sadie started getting greedy, demanding more money. I never demanded anything, Sadie protested. You demanded I leave my wife for you. You demanded I buy you a bigger apartment. You demanded a lot of things, Sadie. Because you promised. I promised you money, and you got it. But that wasn't enough, was it? I looked around the warehouse, calculating distances to exits. How much money are we talking about? Prince laughed. More than you know, sweetheart. Your husband's been skimming from his company for months. The money he stole from you was just the beginning. What? Kyle's face went ashen. Prince, don't... Don't what? Don't tell your wife that you've been embezzling from your employer, that the FBI is already investigating. The warehouse seemed to spin around me. The FBI? Oh, yes. Kyle's been very busy. Company funds, client accounts, even the pension fund. Your husband's a regular Bernie Madoff. That's not true. Kyle whispered. Isn't it? Should I show her the bank statements, the forged documents, the fake invoices? Prince pulled out a folder, scattered papers across the concrete floor. Even in the dim light, I could see Kyle's signature on dozens of documents. Kyle, I breathed. What did you do? But Kyle wasn't looking at me. He was staring at the men in the shadows, finally understanding what kind of trouble he was in. Prince, he said quietly, we can work this out. No, Kyle, we really can't. Actually, Prince, I said, stepping forward, I think we can work this out. Everyone turned to look at me. Prince raised an eyebrow. Can we now? You want Kyle and Sadie to disappear, right? To stop being problems for you? That's one way to put it. What if I told you there was a better way? A way that gets you what you want without... I gestured at the men in the shadows. Without this. Prince studied me. I'm listening. Kyle's already destroyed. The FBI investigation you mentioned. That's going to ruin him whether you do anything or not. And Sadie. I looked at her. She's about to lose everything too. What are you talking about? Sadie demanded. I'm talking about the fact that you're both idiots who left a paper trail a mile wide. I pulled out my phone, showed them the screen. While you were planning your little warehouse meeting, I was busy. I sent everything to the FBI. Bank records, text messages, that recording from your apartment. All of it. Kyle's face went white. You didn't. I did. About an hour ago. You bitch! Sadie snarled. I'm the bitch. You stole my money and planned to frame your own brother for it. Prince was watching this exchange with interest. What exactly did you send them? Evidence of a conspiracy to commit fraud. Evidence of embezzlement. Evidence of money laundering. Take your pick. And you think that helps me how? Because I also told them where to find you. The warehouse went dead silent. Prince's men shifted nervously. You're bluffing, Prince said. Am I? I held up my phone again. Want to see the email I sent to Agent Martinez? The one with your name, your address, and a detailed timeline of your involvement. Prince's composure cracked. You stupid bitch! Do you have any idea what you've done? I've done what I should have done weeks ago. I've taken control. You've signed your own death warrant. Have I? Because I'm pretty sure the FBI is already on their way here. As if on cue, we heard the sound of car engines outside. Multiple cars, moving fast. Prince's men looked toward the door. Boss, we need to go. Nobody moves, Prince snapped. But his voice had lost its confidence. The sound of car doors slamming echoed through the warehouse. Then footsteps. Lots of them. FBI! Building is surrounded! Prince spun toward me. You set us up. I set you all up. Kyle, Sadie, you. Every single person who thought they could steal from me and get away with it. Avery, Kyle whispered. What have you done? What I had to do. The warehouse door burst open. Agents in tactical gear flooded in, weapons drawn. Everyone on the ground! Now! Prince's men immediately dropped to their knees, hands behind their heads. They'd clearly done this before. Prince looked around wildly, then focused on me. This isn't over! Yes, it is. On the ground! An agent shouted at Prince. Prince slowly knelt, his eyes never leaving mine. You have no idea who you're dealing with. I know exactly who I'm dealing with. A small-time crook who thought he was smarter than everyone else. Kyle and Sadie were on their knees now too, both looking shell-shocked. Avery Bryant, one of the agents approached me. Yes? Agent Martinez, we spoke on the phone. Thank you for coming so quickly. Thank you for the evidence. We've been trying to build a case against Prince for months. What happens now? Now we arrest everyone involved in the conspiracy, including your husband and sister-in-law. I watched as they cuffed Kyle. He looked at me with something between betrayal and admiration. Ave, why? Because you destroyed our marriage for money. Because you planned to leave me with nothing. Because you're a liar and a thief. I loved you. No, you didn't. You loved what I could give you. There's a difference. They cuffed Sadie next. She was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. This is all your fault, she sobbed at me. You ruined everything. I didn't ruin anything. I just stopped letting you ruin me. Prince was the last to be cuffed. As they led him past me, he leaned close. You think you've won? This is just the beginning. No, Prince, this is the end. Agent Martinez stayed behind as they loaded everyone into separate cars. "We'll need you to come in for a full statement," he said. "Of course. You did the right thing, Mrs. Bryant. I know it couldn't have been easy. It was the only thing I could do." As the cars pulled away, I stood alone in the empty warehouse. My phone buzzed with a text from Gabriella. "Saw the news. Are you okay?" I typed back, "I'm perfect." But I wasn't perfect. I was exhausted and heartbroken and angry. I was also free. My phone rang. Julius. "Avery, I just heard. Are you safe?" "I'm safe." "Good. We need to talk about next steps. Divorce proceedings, asset recovery, criminal restitution. Tomorrow. Tonight I just want to go home." "Of course. But Avery." "Yes?" "You should know that the media has picked up the story. It's going to be big news." I thought about that. Kyle's company was well known locally. Prince was a public figure. The story of a wife exposing her husband's crimes would definitely make headlines. Let them write about it. I have nothing to hide. I drove home, through empty streets, past the coffee shop where Kyle had tried to manipulate me with nostalgia, past the diner where I'd worked myself to exhaustion, past the jewellery store where I'd sold my mother's pearls. Tomorrow, I would deal with lawyers and reporters and the mess Kyle had left behind. Tomorrow, I would start rebuilding my life. But tonight, I was going to sleep in my own bed, in my own apartment, with my own money safely in my own account. I parked outside my building and looked up at my windows. For the first time in months, I felt something I'd almost forgotten. Peace. My phone buzzed one more time. An unknown number. "Mrs. Bryant, you don't know me, but I work at Kyle's company. Thank you for exposing what they were doing. They stole from the pension fund. You saved a lot of people's retirement." I smiled and typed back, "You're welcome." Then I turned off my phone and went inside. The war was over. I had won. But as I climbed the stairs to my apartment, I couldn't shake the feeling that Prince's words weren't just empty threats. This might be the end of one chapter, but something told me the story wasn't over yet. The knock on my door came at 7 in the morning, 3 days after the warehouse. I looked through the peephole and saw a woman I didn't recognise holding a manila envelope. "Avery Bryant?" "Yes?" "I'm Sarah from Channel 7 News. Could I have a moment of your time?" "I'm not giving interviews." "This isn't about an interview. It's about something you need to see." Against my better judgment, I opened the door with the chain still attached. "What is it?" Sarah held up the envelope. "Photos of Prince's other victims. There are more, Mrs. Bryant. A lot more." I unlatched the chain and let her in. Sarah spread the photos across my kitchen table. Dozens of them. Men and women of all ages, some with families, some alone, all looking broken. "Who are these people?" "Prince's victims over the past 5 years. Employees he's embezzled from, investors he's defrauded, families he's destroyed." I picked up one photo. A middle-aged woman holding a toddler. "This is Maria Santos. Prince convinced her to invest her disability settlement in a fake company. She lost everything, had to move in with her sister." Another photo. An elderly couple. The Johnsons. Prince was their financial advisor. He stole their entire retirement fund. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because they want to thank you. All of them. You did what they couldn't do. You stopped him." My phone rang. Gabriella. "Ava, turn on the news. Channel 7. I grabbed the remote, flipped to the local news. My face filled the screen, a photo from my company website. "Local woman exposes multi-million-dollar fraud scheme," the anchor was saying. "Avery Bryant's courage in coming forward has led to the arrest of Prince Daniels and the recovery of stolen funds affecting dozens of victims." The screen switched to footage of Prince being led away in handcuffs. Daniels, a board member at Bryant Industries, is accused of embezzling over $3 million from various sources, including employee pension funds and private investors. $3 million. Kyle had been small time compared to Prince. Sarah was watching me watch the news. "There's more." "What do you mean?" "Prince had partners, other people in other cities running similar schemes. Your evidence didn't just take down Prince. It exposed an entire network." She pulled out another folder, this one thick with documents. FBI raids in Chicago, Denver, Phoenix. 17 arrests so far, all because you decided to fight back. I stared at the documents. "I just wanted my money back." You got a lot more than that. My phone buzzed with a text from Julius. Need to see you today. Good news about asset recovery. I have to go, I told Sarah. Of course. But Mrs. Bryant, these people want to meet you, to thank you in person. I don't need thanks. Maybe not. But they need to give them. Julius's office was buzzing with activity when I arrived. Paralegals rushing around with files, phones ringing constantly. Avery! Julius stood up from behind a desk covered in papers. Sit down. We have a lot to discuss. The asset recovery. Better than we hoped. The FBI has frozen all of Prince's accounts. They've also recovered most of the money Kyle transferred. Most of it? 43,000 of the original 48. The rest was spent, but we can pursue restitution. What about Kyle and Sadie? Kyle's looking at 5 to 10 years. Federal fraud charges, embezzlement, conspiracy. Sadie will probably get 2 to 3 as an accessory. And Prince? 25 to life. He's been running this scheme for years. Your evidence was the key that unlocked everything. Julius leaned back in his chair. There's something else. The FBI wants to offer you a reward. A reward? For information leading to the arrest and conviction of a major fraud ring. Could be substantial. I thought about that. Blood money in a way. Payment for destroying my own life. I don't want it. Avery! Give it to the other victims, the people in those photos. They need it more than I do. Julius nodded. I'll make the arrangements. My phone rang. Unknown number again. Hello? Mrs. Bryant. This is Detective Williams with Phoenix PD. We arrested 3 people yesterday based on evidence from your case. I wanted to thank you personally. You don't need to thank me. Yes, I do. These people destroyed lives, families. You stopped them. After I hung up, Julius was watching me with concern. How are you holding up? I'm tired. That's understandable. You've been through hell. Have I done the right thing? What do you mean? Kyle was my husband. Sadie was family. I destroyed them. Avery, they destroyed themselves. You just refused to let them destroy you too. That evening, I sat in my apartment with a glass of wine and my laptop. The news coverage was everywhere. My story had gone viral, shared thousands of times across social media. Most of the comments were supportive. Hero. Brave. Justice served. But some weren't. Home wrecker. Vindictive bitch. Should have stood by her husband. I was about to close the laptop when a new email arrived. The subject line made me pause. Thank you from Colorado. Mrs. Bryant, you don't know me, but Prince Daniel stole my son's college fund 3 years ago. I thought I'd never get justice. Today, the FBI arrested his partner here in Denver and recovered the money. My son starts college in the fall. Thank you for giving him his future back. Another email arrived. Then another. Dozens of them from people across the country whose lives had been touched by Prince's network. A widow who got her husband's life insurance back. A veteran who recovered his disability payments. A young couple who could finally buy their first home. I sat there reading email after email, crying for people I'd never met, but somehow helped. My phone rang. Lorelei. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Avery? Lorelei. I wanted to apologise. That was unexpected. For what? For not seeing what Kyle was doing. For blaming you. For not being the mother-in-law you deserved. Lorelei. No, let me finish. I raised Kyle to be better than this. I failed him, and I failed you. You didn't fail anyone. I did. And now my children are going to prison because I taught them that family loyalty meant protecting each other's lives. The pain in her voice was real, raw. What will you do now? I asked. I don't know. Start over, I guess. Try to figure out how I got it so wrong. We all got it wrong, Lorelei. The important thing is what we do next. What are you going to do next? I looked around my apartment, my safe space, my fortress. I'm going to live my life, on my terms, with my money, without anyone else's permission. That sounds like a good plan. After we hung up, I poured another glass of wine and opened my laptop again. More emails had arrived. More thank yous from strangers whose lives I'd accidentally saved. But the last email was different. It was from Kyle. Ave, I know you probably won't read this, but I need to say it. You were right about everything. I was weak and selfish, and I destroyed the best thing in my life. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. You're stronger than I ever was. You're going to be okay. Better than okay. You're going to be amazing. I stared at that email for a long time. Then I deleted it without responding. Some bridges, once burned, should stay burned. I closed the laptop and walked to my window. The city stretched out below me, full of lights and possibilities. Somewhere out there, people were sleeping better tonight because Prince and his network were behind bars. Families were whole again because their stolen money was coming home. I hadn't set out to be anyone's hero. I'd just refused to be anyone's victim. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Gabriella. Dinner tomorrow? I'm buying. We're celebrating. Celebrating what? Your new life. I smiled and typed back. Yes, but I'm buying. I can afford it now. I could afford a lot of things now. A new apartment, a vacation, a car that didn't break down every month. But most importantly, I could afford to be myself. Completely, unapologetically myself. And that was worth more than all the money in the world.